My mom took in our dangerous cousin after she allegedly tried to suffocate her baby sister. But when she saved my baby brother from choking and got kicked out for it, she revealed a truth that made me realize what was really going on. I was 14 when my mom let a known abuser move into our home. It was our 16-year-old cousin Yuna, who had just returned from a reformatory school after trying to suffocate her baby sister out of jealousy. Her mom didn't feel safe with her in her home, so my mom volunteered to take her. I thought it made her admirable, but when Yuna arrived 3 days later, she wasn't what I expected. Thin, quiet, shoulders hunched like she was trying to disappear. Over the next few weeks, I watched Yuna's life in our house become absolute hell. They put a lock on the outside of her door and only let her out for school and mealtime. And she was banned from using utensils to eat, because dongmul kyorium gulgosipumyan, dongmul koryum dehejuji. If she wants to act like an animal, then we'll treat her like one. You see, she didn't speak Korean, so my entire family would talk bad about her in it. But here's what didn't add up. I'd catch Yuna doing the work no one else wanted to do. At night, she'd hum lullabies through the air vents to get him to stop crying. And during dinner, she'd make hand shadows on the wall just to get him to laugh. Everything changed during Mom's birthday party. The adults were wasted in the backyard, music blasting, when I heard a sound coming from the living room. When I walked in, my jaw dropped. My baby brother was choking, face purple, eyes bulging, no sound coming out. I tried to help, but I was doing it all wrong, slapping his back uselessly, screaming for help that no one could hear over the party. Suddenly, Yuna materialized out of nowhere. She ripped him from my arms and punched him over and over. The candy shot out. She saved my baby brother, and as he cried in Yuna's arms, the room filled with hammered relatives. "What did you do to him?" my mom shrieked. "Mom, she saved him!" "Classic pattern," she interrupted. "Hurt them to play hero." The whole family were staring daggers at Yuna. She tried to explain, but Mom kept going, each word a knife. "You're sick, Yuna. Sick in the head." The relatives piled on, backing Mom up, talking about how the reformatory school clearly failed. I watched Yuna shrink smaller and smaller until she fled to her room. Through the walls, I could hear her sobbing. Later that evening, the extended family held what felt like a trial. Yuna sat in the center of our living room while they discussed her "wihyomhan hengdong," dangerous behavior, in Korean. She just sat there, tears streaming down her face, completely defenseless. "The bus leaves at 11 tonight," Mom announced in English, "to the downtown shelter." They were acting like they were doing the world a favor, like shoving a crying teenage girl onto a late-night bus to a shelter was some heroic act of parenting. Me and Bruno were the only ones who volunteered to walk with her. Bruno was a German Shepherd, aka our scary dog privilege LOL. By 11 p.m., we had finally made our way through the dark streets and sat on the cold bench. Yuna was the one to break the silence. She looked at me and spoke in perfect Korean. "Dangsin un chinjolhan yuilhan salamiossamida." You were the only one who was kind to me. My blood turned to ice. That's when I realized she'd understood everything. Every cruel word, every vicious joke. She then switched to English, her voice small and broken. "Your mom knew I spoke Korean. She told me if I ever revealed it, she'd have me institutionalized permanently." Yuna pulled her knees up, making herself tiny. "I need you to know what really happened with my sister." What she said next made my stomach twist. Yuna was 14 and visiting my mom with her baby sister, Aiki, while her parents were on a retreat. My mom had encouraged her to go to the movies. When she got back, she found my mom with a pillow pressed over Aiki's face. Before she could do anything, my mom called her parents and said Yuna had attacked Aiki. I didn't want to believe her, but that's when she said something that made everything clear. You see, Aiki was due to inherit an extremely large trust fund from my grandmother. If she died early, it would go to my mom as the eldest daughter. I felt myself choke up and sniffle to hold back the tears when she said that. As the bus approached, Yuna stood on shaking legs. "There's a blue paper crane on your desk. Inside is a recording of your mom threatening me in Korean last night. She needs money again." She took a deep breath before delivering the final blow. "Your brother isn't safe, and neither are you." As the bus pulled away with Yuna, I stood frozen at the empty bus stop with Bruno, hands shaking as I processed that my mother tried to unalive a baby. My legs wouldn't move toward home. My phone buzzed. Mom's text glowed on the screen. "Where are you? It's past midnight." I typed and deleted 5 different responses before sending "coming," knowing I had to face a would-be baby killer. Autocorrect changed it to "conning" before I hit send. Walking home on shaking legs, I forced each step while Mom watched from the window. When she waved sweetly, I barely managed a weak wave back. Her smile looked predatory now. Dad met me at the door, concerned about the late hour while Mom hovered behind asking pointed questions about what took so long. I mumbled about traffic while avoiding Mom's searching gaze. In my room, my hands shook opening the desk drawer to find the blue paper crane exactly where Yuna promised. The crane felt heavier than paper should. Unfolding the crane revealed a tiny USB drive taped inside with Korean writing on it. My laptop took forever to boot while I strained to hear if anyone was coming upstairs. The audio file showed a date from last night. Mom's voice in Korean threatened to have Yuna permanently hospitalized in a place where screaming is expected if she revealed she understood Korean. The recording continued with Mom saying in Korean that if Yuna spoke about that night, she'd join her sister in a place where no one would believe her screams. Footsteps on the stairs interrupted playback. I barely managed to hide the USB in my phone case before Mom appeared in the doorway asking why I was still awake. Her eyes scanned the room while maintaining her concerned parent act. Mom noticed the paper crane pieces on my desk and casually mentioned how obsessive Yuna was with origami, testing if I'd found anything. I forced myself to agree Yuna was weird. After Mom left, I copied the audio file to 3 cloud services and emailed it to a draft folder, creating digital insurance. The file upload stuck at 3% when the Wi-Fi suddenly disconnected. Baby brother's cries woke me. I crept to my door, peering through the crack to see Mom in the nursery holding him, positioned exactly as Yuna described with Aiki. At breakfast, Dad praised Mom for handling the Yuna situation so well, while I realized he genuinely had no idea who he married. Mom accepted the praise while watching my reaction. Checking old family photos, I noticed one from Mom's visit to Yuna's family. Mom held baby Aiki, but her smile didn't reach her eyes, hands positioned strangely on the baby. The photo was dated 1 week before the incident. Mom suggested I seemed tired and stressed, offering to schedule a therapy appointment to process Yuna's manipulation. I recognized the attempt to discredit me preemptively. At school, I couldn't focus and kept checking my phone for baby brother's daycare updates. My teacher noticed the distraction and sent a note home about concerning behavior changes. The school counselor pulled me aside after Mom called expressing worry about trauma from housing a dangerous cousin. The counselor's sympathy felt like another trap as she took notes about paranoid ideation. I skipped lunch to research infant CPR and choking hazards on the school library computer, clearing the history after. The librarian mentioned Mom had called asking about my internet usage. Googling grandmother's name led to her obituary online mentioning the trust fund. I screenshotted the public record showing Aiki as beneficiary. The article included a quote from Mom about unfair distribution. My best friend Maya mentioned her mom who worked at daycare noticed my mom visited 3 times this week just to watch the baby. Unusual for a working parent. The visits always happened during employee lunch breaks. A pattern emerged. Mom's concerned visits to daycare aligned with times when regular staff were away, leaving substitutes who didn't know routines. I screenshotted the daycare sign-in logs. Elderly neighbor Mrs. Chen mentioned in passing she was happy to help like when my mom needed watching that time with the other baby. My blood ran cold. I casually asked Mrs. Chen about babysitting and learned Mom asked her to watch Aiki years ago, but then suddenly said family was visiting instead. The dates matched Yuna's timeline. Mom announced she was volunteering for the overnight daycare fundraiser this weekend. I immediately texted Dad about taking baby brother to his parents instead. Dad questioned why I didn't want Mom to have special bonding time with the baby. I planted a seed about Mom seeming overwhelmed lately, suggesting a grandparent's visit would help her rest. Mom cornered me in the kitchen the next morning, sweetly mentioning how concerned Yuna's mom had called to apologize for burdening us with her disturbed daughter. She warned me about believing manipulative people while peeling an apple with a sharp knife, each slice deliberate and precise. I recognized Mom's tactics from watching her manipulate Yuna. The concerned act, the subtle threats, the isolation attempts. I started documenting everything in a hidden journal tucked behind old textbooks. Maya showed me a text from her mom meant for Maya's dad about that woman at daycare today, asking about SIDS giving her chills and whether she should say something. Mom was researching infant death. When Mom suggested I babysit so parents could have date night, I insisted grandmother come too for extra help. Mom's flash of anger quickly masked revealed her plan disrupted. She gripped her wine glass until her knuckles went white. I screenshotted Mom's texts, rearranging weekend plans 3 times, always trying to get alone time with baby. I created a folder labeled math homework to hide the evidence. An anonymous call to CPS about concerns yielded a form letter about insufficient evidence. The system wouldn't help without proof of actual harm. Mrs. Chen became an unofficial ally after I helped with her groceries, sharing more memories about Mom's nervousness around babies. The elder's sharp eyes missed nothing as she mentioned my mother not liking babies much, except her own. Late-night searching revealed Mom's sister had blocked Mom on all social media exactly 2 years ago. The timeline matched when Yuna was sent to reformatory. I found Yuna's brother through Mom's sister's Facebook and messaged him carefully. He responded that Yuna told him I was kind to her. My measured response to family praising Mom's sacrifice taking in Yuna gained Dad's attention. He mentioned I'd grown up a lot lately, not realizing why. Mom watched the interaction with calculating eyes. Baby brother's first birthday approaching in 2 weeks became a ticking clock. Mom insisted on an intimate family-only party despite tradition of big celebrations. I convinced Dad's mom to visit for the birthday, mentioning how Mom seemed stressed. Grandmother agreed enthusiastically. Hadn't seen enough of grandkids lately. Mom's barely contained fury at the news showed in her clenched jaw. Mom's mask slipped during an argument with Dad about his mother visiting. She insisted she just wanted something special for us, but I heard the real frustration underneath. Dad looked confused by her overreaction. Mom offered to let me plan baby's party if grandmother couldn't come. The obvious manipulation to remove an obstacle made me agree but insist on a big guest list. The group chat with cousins revealed Mom had called each family member with different stories about why they shouldn't visit for birthday. Her web of lies started to tangle. Comparing Mom's stories to different relatives revealed she claimed Dad was sick, baby was sick, house had mold, and we were traveling. All lies told the same day. The screenshot timestamps proved the deception. Mom's control crumbled as relatives compared notes in the family group chat. Confusion about conflicting stories spread without me saying anything directly. Yuna's brother shared a recent text from Yuna, warning that Mom showed the same fake concern for her baby sister that she was showing for their baby. The pattern was confirmed by Yuna herself. Maya stayed loyal despite her mom warning her to stay away from family drama. She helped by keeping eyes on the daycare situation, proving real friends don't abandon you when things get scary. Dad started noticing Mom's erratic behavior about the birthday party and asked me privately if everything was okay. The seed of doubt was finally planted in his mind. I resisted the urge to play Mom's threatening audio for Dad yet. I needed more concrete evidence first to overcome his denial about his wife. During Sunday dinner, Mom contradicted herself about why Yuna left, mixing up the timeline. Dad caught it and asked for clarification while I stayed silent. Mom's explanation made less sense the more she talked. Mrs. Chen mentioned she clearly remembered Mom visiting that day. Aiki got hurt because she seemed so nervous and left right when Mrs. Chen came back from the store early. Mom's sister finally returned my carefully worded message and agreed to video call. Her face went pale when I mentioned concerns about baby brother's safety. The pattern crystallized as Yuna's mom revealed mom had asked to babysit Aiki multiple times before the incident, always when parents were gone overnight. She was obsessed with alone time with the baby. I rallied support by inviting the entire extended family to the birthday party through a group message. I framed it as a surprise for mom who'd been working so hard. Cornering mom with kindness, I thanked her for protecting the family from Yuna while watching her squirm. Mom's response revealed she knew I knew something. Dad apologized to me for all the family drama lately and mentioned mom had been having nightmares about someone trying to take the baby. The projection revealed her guilt. Mom's options narrowed as family confirmed attendance for the party. Her attempts to uninvite people made her look unstable to dad and others. Yuna's mom revealed the final piece. Mom had asked about Aiki's inheritance just days before the incident and was upset when told it couldn't be changed. The financial motive was confirmed. I ensured baby brother was never alone with mom by coordinating with dad, grandparents, and Maya's mom. The protection network was built without direct accusations. Mom noticed but couldn't complain without looking suspicious. Cousins rallied around party planning, unknowingly creating a buffer between mom and baby. I weaponized their presence for protection. Mom's attempts to create alone time were consistently blocked by helpful family. Her frustration mounted as the birthday approached with no opportunities. Dad witnessed mom's disproportionate anger when grandmother offered to give baby his bath. It was a moment of clarity as he saw what I'd been seeing. He asked why she didn't want his mom helping. My reputation as a thoughtful, mature teen solidified with extended family through party planning. Credibility was building for the eventual revelation. Dad mentioned at dinner he'd installed security cameras for package thieves. I mentally filed this information for later use. 3 days before the party, mom announced she was taking baby for a special photo shoot alone. I had to act fast. The photographer didn't exist when dad called to confirm. Mom's true nature flashed when I volunteered to come to the photo shoot. A split second of rage before the false smile returned showed the stakes. I realized I wasn't just protecting baby brother anymore. Mom knew I knew, making me a potential target too. Instead of confronting, I suggested a family photo shoot instead, getting dad excited about the idea. I outmaneuvered mom while maintaining an innocent facade. Mom was forced to agree or look selfish. The extended family group chat filled with excitement about the party and stories about mom seeming off lately. The narrative shifted without me forcing it. Yuna's mother texted she couldn't come but shared a disturbing memory. Mom had visited right before the Aiki incident, insisting on helping with the baby. Initial victory came as mom retreated to her bedroom with a migraine while family filled the house. I knew it was a temporary reprieve. She locked the bedroom door from inside. Mom emerged at dinner with a new plan. She suggested taking baby to her room since noise was bothering him. It was the room where no one could see what happened. Grandmother firmly insisted baby stay visible and mentioned mom had seemed anxious during my infancy too. A new concern was emerging. Mom's facade cracked as family members compared notes about her odd behavior. Dad pulled me aside asking if there was something he should know. I had to decide how much to reveal. The alliance solidified between me, Mrs. Chen, Maya, grandmother, and Yuna's family. Truth spread through natural conversation without direct accusation. Uncle mentioned finding it strange how mom was the only family member who supported sending Yuna away. Others admitted they just followed her lead. The family was realizing their complicity. I texted Yuna's mother the audio file while in the bathroom. Her response was immediate about calling a lawyer right away. Yuna's parents revealed they wanted to investigate, but mom convinced them Yuna needed peace to heal. The manipulation tactic was now clear. Mrs. Chen didn't have footage but clearly remembered mom arriving that day looking nervous, left quickly when I returned early. Her witness testimony carried weight. Dad's face when hearing Mrs. Chen's testimony destroyed me. His world crumbled as evidence mounted against the woman he loved. He reached for baby brother protectively. The complete audio played for dad and grandparents in private. Mom's voice threatening institutionalization, mentioning that night with clear menace filled the room. Family consensus was immediate. Baby couldn't be alone with mom, but legal options were limited since no crime had technically been committed yet. We had to protect through vigilance. Mom emerged from her room holding baby's bottle and formula to feed him since everyone was being so loud, but the bottle was already prepared suspiciously. The liquid looked cloudy. A standoff erupted in the kitchen as mom realized everyone knew. Her desperate plea about being misunderstood fell flat as family formed a protective barrier around the children. Mom turned to me with venom, accusing me of poisoning them against her just like that little brat Yuna. The mask fully dropped as dad stepped between us. Mom's hatred toward me was revealed. Family scattered as mom waved the bottle threateningly. I grabbed baby brother while dad tried to calm his increasingly agitated wife. Baby laughed, not understanding the danger. I had to choose between running with baby or helping dad who was trying to restrain an increasingly violent mom. I chose baby's safety over my father's struggle. Racing to Mrs. Chen's house with baby, mom's screams echoed behind us. Safety was reached, but at the cost of leaving dad in danger. I waited at Mrs. Chen's for 20 minutes before police sirens approached. Mom had time to barricade and plan her story. Her silhouette paced behind the curtains. Police arrived at the scene with mom barricaded in the bedroom, dad bleeding from defensive wounds. I watched from Mrs. Chen's window as my childhood home became a crime scene. Mom's behavior was so erratic that officers requested psychological evaluation. Her protests about being set up by children only confirmed instability. Yuna's parents arrived with a family lawyer who'd been on the phone with Yuna at the shelter. Her testimony was provided via video call. Yuna still had visible bruises from being locked up. I faced the choice of pressing charges ensuring baby's safety, but destroying the family, or letting mom get help and risk my brother's life. The choice was made to prioritize baby's safety over family reputation. I provided all evidence to authorities despite dad's tears. The family unit was destroyed forever. Mom's arrest happened as neighbors watched. The woman who locked up Yuna for appearances was now exposed publicly as an attempted child killer. She tried to maintain dignity in handcuffs. Police placed an emergency protective order while Dad filed for temporary custody. A formal hearing was scheduled for next week. Mom's last manipulation attempt through a jail call begging me to remember good times and refusing to acknowledge crimes failed completely. I stood firm despite emotional manipulation, changed my phone number, and began therapy. Victory tasted like grief and relief mixed. I kept one family photo from before. Mom was held for evaluation while awaiting charges. Dad explained the legal process would take months, but baby was safe for now. Yuna's family began healing, with an invitation extended for regular visits. Bridges were rebuilt after Mom's lies were torn down. A new normal started establishing itself. Dad learned to single parent. I remained hyper-vigilant but healing. Baby brother safe and thriving. I still checked locks twice. The blue paper crane was refolded and kept on my desk. A reminder that truth, however painful, protects innocence from predators. 6 months later, with legal proceedings ongoing, I watched baby brother take his first steps at his second birthday party, surrounded by both sides of family finally united. Yuna held him steady as he walked toward me. Our shared trauma forged into an unbreakable bond of protection, while Dad recorded with tears of joy and grief for the woman he thought he knew. The price of safety paid in full, but worth every shattered illusion to keep innocent lives from becoming inheritance money. The party was everything Mom had tried to prevent. Extended family filled every corner of the house, creating the protective network she'd fought against. Cousins played with baby brother, while aunts and uncles shared stories about red flags they'd ignored. Yuna sat beside me on the couch, no longer the hunched, terrified girl from months ago. She'd gained weight at the shelter, started college courses, and her parents had welcomed her home with open arms and therapy support. Dad had aged years in months. The security cameras he'd installed for package thieves now monitored every angle of our home. He triple-checked baby's food, maintained custody paperwork in triplicate, and attended single-parent support meetings twice weekly. Maya's mom had become our unofficial daycare liaison, ensuring baby brother was never left with substitutes. The daycare director, horrified by Mom's ESIDS inquiries, had implemented new visitor protocols. Mrs. Chen visited daily, bringing soup and wisdom. She'd testified at every hearing, her memory sharp about Mom's suspicious behavior with both babies. The elderly woman had become our guardian angel. Grandmother moved in temporarily, helping Dad navigate single parenthood while processing her daughter's crimes. She'd discovered Mom had inquired about her own inheritance multiple times over the years. Uncle admitted his guilt about dismissing Yuna's situation. He'd started a fund for her college expenses, trying to make amends for following Mom's lead without question. The prosecutor built a strong case using the audio recording, witness testimonies, and pattern evidence. Mom's lawyer argued mental illness, but her calculated planning undermined that defense. I attended every court date, watching Mom try to manipulate from the defendant's table. She'd lost weight, her perfect appearance crumbling like her facade. She still wouldn't admit guilt. Yuna's testimony via video link devastated the courtroom. She detailed the suffocation attempt, Mom's threats, the months of abuse disguised as discipline. Several jurors wiped away tears. The daycare workers testified about Mom's disturbing questions. The SIDS pamphlets she'd requested were entered as evidence. Her internet search history revealed months of infant death research. Dad testified with breaking voice about discovering his wife's true nature. He detailed her obsession with alone time with baby, her rage when prevented, the escalating control attempts. My testimony came last. I presented the documented evidence, the screenshots, the family group chat revelations. I explained how Mom had groomed everyone to see Yuna as dangerous, while she was the real threat. Mom's parents attended one hearing, then never returned. The shame of their daughter's actions, the revelation of her decades of manipulation, proved too much for them to face publicly. Between hearings, life continued. Baby brother learned to walk, then run. His first word was Dada, which made Dad cry. His second was safe, which made me cry. I struggled in therapy with survivor's guilt. Why had I been spared when Yuna suffered? The therapist helped me understand that my kindness to Yuna had saved both babies' lives. School became my escape. My grades improved as I channeled anxiety into studying. Teachers noticed my maturity, though none knew the full story behind my transformation. Maya remained my anchor. She never asked for details I wasn't ready to share, just offered steady friendship. Her mom continued monitoring the daycare situation, an extra layer of protection. Yuna and I texted regularly. She sent photos from her new school, updates on therapy progress. We shared a bond forged in trauma, but growing toward healing. The final hearing approached with Mom facing multiple charges: attempted unaliving, child endangerment, false imprisonment. The evidence was overwhelming, but she maintained innocence. Dad filed for divorce, a formality given the circumstances. Mom contested from jail, trying to claim marital assets. The judge dismissed her claims given the criminal proceedings. Baby brother's second birthday arrived with bittersweet celebration. The party Mom had tried to prevent became a symbol of our survival. Every relative she'd tried to exclude attended. I baked the cake myself, triple-checking ingredients. Trust came hard now. Every milestone carried the shadow of what almost was, but also the light of what we'd prevented. Yuna arrived early to help set up. She moved confidently now, no longer shrinking from existence. Her parents thanked me again for believing their daughter. The house filled with genuine laughter for the first time in a year. Children played while adults maintained subtle vigilance. We'd all learned the cost of blind trust. Dad presented baby brother with a special gift, a photo album of his first 2 years, carefully edited to exclude Mom. It was both protection and loss, shielding him from truth he'd learn when older. As candles were lit, I thought about the inheritance that started everything. Aiki was safe with her parents. Baby brother would never be valued for money. money. The trust fund had been restructured, protecting both children. Mom's conviction came 2 weeks later. 15 years with possibility of parole in 7. The judge cited the calculated nature of her crimes, the manipulation of family, the danger to multiple children. Dad collapsed in relief at the verdict. Justice felt hollow but necessary. We'd protected baby brother, validated Yuna's truth, but lost the family we thought we had. Mom was led away in shackles, still maintaining the victim act. Her final glance at me held pure hatred. I met it steadily, no longer the naive child who'd welcomed Yuna. The drive home was silent. Dad reached over to squeeze my shoulder, a wordless acknowledgement of what I'd sacrificed for truth. Baby brother babbled happily in his car seat, oblivious to his narrow escape. That night, I found the blue paper crane on my desk, the evidence that started our journey to safety. I refolded it carefully, a reminder that sometimes love means protecting people from those who should love them most. 6 months later, normalcy crept in slowly. Dad smiled more. Baby brother thrived. I stopped checking locks obsessively. Yuna visited monthly, our friendship growing beyond shared trauma. The extended family had restructured around truth. Apologies were offered, boundaries established. We'd learned to question, verify, protect. The naive trust was gone, replaced by conscious choice. I watched baby brother play at his 2nd birthday party, surrounded by people who'd fought for his safety. Yuna steadied him as he walked toward me, both of us guardian angels to a child who'd never know how close he'd come to becoming inheritance money. Dad recorded every moment, tears mixing joy and grief. We'd paid the price for safety in full, a shattered family, lost innocence, constant vigilance. But baby brother's laughter, free and unafraid, proved it worthwhile. The blue crane sat on my desk permanently now, a paper guardian. Truth had saved us, though it came through a teenager's broken whisper at a bus stop. Sometimes the smallest voices carry the most important warnings.